This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. While I'm on the topic of witches and exposing all of these people in Hollywood, all of these people in the entertainment business, from music to actors, actresses, CEOs, producers, record label executives, all of these people are all there because they're all part of the same networking system. Now, it's not like the networking system you would hear about in college, right? Hey, can I get a recommendation? Hey, teacher knows so-and-so. Maybe they can get me a job here or get me a job there. No. It's a closed-off business. That is why they want you to strive to achieve the success of being an actor, being a musician, because you'll just be like the mouse in the wheel. You'll achieve nothing. Sure, you could be a good singer and a good musician and play at a local pub and things like that. But at the end of the day, most of these people who act or become musicians, they have bigger goals, right? They want to be on TV and make a lot of money and be successful. All things that you store up here on earth that grow dusty, that are pointless, that'll all be perished at some point in time, but will all burn, storing up treasure on earth. But I want to show you the Vanderpump West Hollywood witches. And the reason I want to show you this is because even these reality TV stars, people think, oh boy, they all just got hired at this restaurant run by Lisa Vanderpump, who was another high-ranking witch. All the agendas on this show, or all the agendas that I expose, constantly pushing LGBT, right? LGBT, which you can't even say anymore. Every season, pushing the parades and the pride, pushing feminism and the empowerment. And people think it's a coincidence, as if these women just went, and the guys on the show too just went and worked at this restaurant, and suddenly they're just cast on this show, right? And they pretend on the show like they're just working waitresses and waiters, and they have aspirations to be musicians and start their own blogs. Meanwhile, they're making like $30,000 probably an episode or somewhere along those lines. But people think it's actually reality that they're seeing, when in fact it's scripted reality. And even these people who are put in these positions through reality television are also in the inner circle. Witches, occultists, Satanists, what have you, are all dabbling in black magic. So Lisa Vanderpump is obviously a high-ranking witch. Okay, she brings in these people into her inner circle, and then these people, what they do is they bring the same stuff that I expose into the limelight, right? But they do it how? Well, they do it with jest and lightly goes, oh, we're the witches of West Hollywood, right? And people go, oh, well, they're not really witches. They're just calling themselves witches. The next thing you know, these witches of West Hollywood, who are just another bunch of talentless hacks who get pushed through the mainstream on Bravo, they get all these views and stuff like that. They still can't take off. There's Twitters, their Instagrams don't have the followings that they should have for people who get that much attention in national coverage, because they're nothings. They're talentless hacks like all of these witches and Satanists are. They're losers. Okay? But what they do is they start lightly talking about witchcraft. Then the next thing you know, they're doing spells and they're showing it to you on TV. And they're saying, oh, it's not a big deal. And I'm going to show you right here. Oh, it's not a big deal. We're just practicing magic, but it's not serious. It's just kind of a joke, wink, wink. And people at home just, oh, okay, yeah. Then they'll hear me and they'll say, oh, you're blowing it out of proportion. This is how they indoctrinate people with witchcraft and sorcery. This is how they make it look cool. This is how they get women to feel empowered, to want to try this. And again, this is the rise of the witch that we're seeing with this feminist movement. Now you can see Vanderpump, the People magazine or People's website a little while ago had an article, Vanderpump Rules Witches of WeHo, which is West Hollywood, put a hex on cheating Jax Taylor, right? And the article just goes on and it says, you believe in magic? The women of Vanderpump Rules sure do, and they practice the dark arts to exact revenge on Jax Taylor. So apparently this guy cheats on his girlfriend, which is what these shows are about. It's all the same stuff with these reality shows, right? Cheating, drugs, alcohol, partying, striving to be famous. Everybody's getting plastic surgery, right? Everybody's in therapy. These are all things that they want people to do, right? It's constantly a psychological operation. So what they do is they have a ritual, which obviously, is just it's just ridiculous is what it is. But the women get together to cast a spell on this guy who cheated, and the girl who was cheated on, of course, right? Because it's reality TV. The girl happens to be Christian, right? So this is what they do. This is how they subliminally program Christians and everyone else out there into thinking that this isn't a big deal. She says, quote, "As a good Christian woman, I normally would not dabble in black magic. But after Jax did that to me, I think even Jesus himself would make an exception." So she's saying as a Christian, as a good Christian woman, that even Jesus himself, if he was cheated on, would dabble in black magic, right? You see how subliminally they push this? Oh, she's the country girl from the Bible Belt. Oh, and now she's in West Hollywood hanging around these women who openly confess to being witches, right? Just like I showed with Argento, I've showed it with so many people since I've started my channel. They're openly admitting this stuff, right? And they just sneak this stuff into almost every TV show to normalize it, right? So they're all together. They're doing their spell for her because she got cheated on, and it's the right thing to do for the women to give it back to him by putting a hex on. And here's the Christian girl who's, well, I wouldn't do that as a Christian, but, even Jesus would make an exception and dabble in black magic after what Jax did to me. And this is how psychological operations work. Whether you think it's a big deal or not, whether you think, oh, you're blowing it out of proportion. This is how it gets normalized, okay? We live in a world now where our ancestors have allowed the same people who were being run up trees with pitchforks to take control of everything, from the banking systems, the financial institutions, to Hollywood influence, to everything. All of these people, you're not going to find people in Hollywood or these executives of corporations who are Christian. Will some of them pretend to be Christian? Of course they will. Why wouldn't they? They're liars and deceivers, right? Why wouldn't they put on the front and be like, oh, I'm a Christian? Any story you hear about children who have been, gone through the abuse and all that stuff, SRA, they'll come forward and they'll say, well, we went to church every Sunday. The dad pretend, because nobody will believe the story after he would never do that. He's a Christian man. He's at church every Sunday, right? So why wouldn't they play that part? Of course they would. And this isn't new. Witches have been pretending to be Christian women for centuries. For centuries, they've been pretending, right? Satanic men are pretending to be priests and pretending to be, whatever church denomination they're pretending to be a part of the ministry, right? And the same stuff goes on here. So this is normalizing this stuff. And all of these people are in control and in power, and nobody believes it. But if they read history, they'd be like, oh, yeah, there was witches running around. There were witch trials. Oh, the world was so weird back then, right? And I said it a million times. What do you think? All of a sudden the witches woke up, one morning and they just said, yeah, we're just going to stop doing this because, even though it's been going on for thousands, however many years, hundreds of years, whatever time period we're in, they're going, oh, I think I'm going to give it up because I don't feel like getting, run up a tree, or I don't feel like getting killed or anything like that. So we should just stop now. No, they flipped it. Remember, just like Aleister Crowley teaches, everything is inverted. They flipped everything on its head, right? And now all of the people who are in power, in charge, in politics, everywhere, these are the people who are into black magic and the occult. People go, well, let them be into what they want. But if you only knew what they were really into, If you only knew about the stuff that's done to children, because the core of black magic and the core of the black arts involves children. It involves the sacrifice of children. It involves the abuse. It involves so many things that you could not fathom. And the children are always the victims to these witches and these Satanists. So this is Vanderpump Rules. It's just another show where they're just quietly slipping it in, and then they make it seem like it's cool. And everybody has a big laugh about it because they're like, oh, the girls are going to stick it to the guy by doing a little spell on him. And everybody goes, oh, that's funny. It makes for a great episode. And this is how they indoctrinate you. While the rest of the show, these planned episodes all are about all the agendas I keep exposing, from the LGB, pride, right? All of them. Oh, pride, right? Lisa Vanderpump is a face for it. To the trans, to the feminist stuff. This is all pushed through these shows. And they pretend it's reality because it has more of an effect on people's minds, because instead of watching, what you perceive as scripted TV, which say is like a show like Seinfeld or something where you watch it and you know that they're acting and there's writers behind it, people actually believe when they watch reality TV, like, these are real people acting out in the real world where they're given scenarios and they're pretty much improvising in these scenarios. Doesn't mean that they don't really fight or don't really bicker and all this stuff. Of course they do. But they're put in these scenarios and these agendas are pushed behind them. And people just are like, oh, that's the way the world's going now. And, oh, I should get involved with pride, or I should do this, or I should do that. All based on the influence of these witches and Satanists. It's unbelievable. So Vanderpump Rules, just more witches in plain sight. No big deal to anybody. They'll just, oh, it's nothing, you're overreacting, until your kid suddenly wakes up and starts doing this stuff, until they have a voodoo doll, or they have whatever they did in this scene, a lemon with, putting pins in it. I mean, the stuff that these people do is just right in your face, and people still don't think it's serious and severe. Yeah, until you, snap out of it and it's too late. Okay, and I'll be saying, I told you so. Actually, no, I won't be saying I told you so. I'll be smacking these people upside the back of their heads, saying, you think? You think so? Where were you? In 2017, 2018, where people were trying to wake people up to this nonsense. Too late now, but it isn't too late to repent. So hopefully these people do repent. Hopefully people who are listening to this who aren't awake yet find Christ. These are the important things that matter. And constantly, to me, exposing these people, because look, the more you see, the more your brain is just going to start going, okay, he's okay. He keeps saying it. I'm seeing it. I mean, how many examples do you need to see? I could do one every day on every person. These people are just coming out of the woodwork, like the leeches that they are, like the scum that they are. They're not leeches. They're more like cockroaches, I should say. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.